This video is gonna be a monster to edit. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber, hello, welcome back. It is lovely to have you here. And if you are new here, hello! My name is Marie and it is lovely to have you here. I hope you enjoyed today's video and maybe subscribe. I know that making a summer garment might seem really weird coming from me, a literal vampire, but I really love 40s swimsuits. I actually think it's one of the best eras for swimsuits ever. And I've always wanted a 1940s swimsuit. Originally, I was just going to buy one. And then I went online and saw that even the reproductions ran for quite a bit of money that I don't have. So I decided, because I like to sew and it's good content for my channel, why not just make a swimsuit on my own? So I got myself a pattern, I found myself some fabric, and I decided to make one. So enough with the chit chat. Let's go to the work table.
Hello, this is voiceover Marie, and boy was I right when I said that this was going to be a monster to edit. My first step with any project is to do a sketch. These sketches don't have to be perfect, pretty, or even good. They're for my reference only. The reason I start with a sketch is because it helps me with learning how the garment is constructed. I think that actually sketching a project out helps me figure out how the garment goes together, which is crucial when you're sewing. I'm using alcohol-based markers to color this in, but I don't really have a preferred method to color. It's simply whatever I felt like using that day. And today I felt like using markers. While I personally prefer to sketch my projects out, I don't think it's a necessary or a vital part of sewing, especially if you're just following a pattern to a T. Of course, when you venture into altering territory or original designs, then you definitely want to have a sketch ready. But at the end of the day, it's whatever you feel most comfortable with. Once I finished the sketch, I got to cutting the pattern. I used one of the Simplicity replicas of an actual pattern they sold in the 1940s. The number is right there, and I will also leave it in the description box down below if you are interested in purchasing it. The size range that I own is 6 to 12, but it's available in multiple size ranges. I cut the pattern out in a size 12, but I'm currently a size 10 in patterns, but I prefer to cut out my patterns bigger than smaller because, as they always say, it's easier to take garments in than take a garment out. And I've never really worked with shorts before, so it was definitely good to cut it out a size too big, just in case I made a mistake. After cutting the pattern, I started to cut the fabric pieces. I always pin my pattern piece to the fabric or secure it somehow. When I was just a wee lass, just learning how to sew, I never secured my pieces to my fabric, and as you can guess, that resulted in poorly cut fabric pieces that didn't work at all. So I just wasted money and fabric. So if you don't pin or secure your pattern to your fabric, start doing it. I'm serious. It is a game changer. And no, you shouldn't pin all fabric. If you're working with a silk, definitely use pattern weights, but secure it somehow. So let's talk about this fabric for a moment. I got this novelty print cotton on clearance at Joann, which means that there were only 2 yards left, and that meant that matching the print wasn't an option. So as they say, piecing is period, and I pieced together this garment. And that was definitely true during World War II. Fabrics were rationed, and if you see handmade garments from the era, you can definitely tell that they were pieced together. So let's just write my lack of fabric off as historical accuracy and not me underestimating how much fabric this project actually required. After I cut my fabric out, I finally began to sew. I started by gathering the center of each of the top cups by hand, and I chose to do this by hand as opposed to by machine because I find that I have more control gathering by hand, and the stitches do tend to be stronger. When I put this on for the first time, some of the machine stitches came off very easily, so I had to hand sew parts of it again. Then it was time to start on the strap. I opted to sew the rest of this by machine because things in the 40s were regularly sewn by machine. And I have another project that needs to be finished by Halloween, so... In the directions there was an instruction to make the buttonholes for the top strap, but I decided to just have it tie in the back, as it was simpler to do so and easier to get into. And I really don't like buttonholes. You're going to realize this later on in this video. I just don't like buttonholes. So why make things more complicated for myself? After sewing the top strap, I added the bottom band, and that was it. The top is definitely the easiest part of this pattern, and it's my favorite part of this outfit. I will be making more of these as Patreon rewards, so if you'd like to get your hands on a 1940s swimsuit top, subscribe to my Patreon. Link will be in the description box below.
As you can see, the top is finished. It's a little white on this side, but I think that just has to do with how I tied it in the back. I'm pretty happy with it. Actually, I'm really happy with it. So yeah, now we get on to the difficult part, which is the shorts that I've never made before, but there's a first time for everything. Let's go.
After that, it was time to sew the shorts. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous about making the shorts, as I think I've made approximately one pant-like garment, and that was years ago, and it didn't turn out very good. But sewing the shorts wasn't such a bad experience. After all, it's just putting puzzle pieces together. The biggest challenge with the shorts was the fit of it, which I did talk about previously. I cut them way too much, and it took a lot of trimming and fitting in order to get them to sit right. They're still not 100% perfect, but no one except me can tell, so I guess I'll live with it. The instructions call for the shorts to have buttons as well, but like I said, I don't like buttonholes. So in order to save time, energy, and the tears of frustration that inevitably come with sewing buttonholes, I opted to use hooks and eyes and then sew decorative buttons on top. Since I didn't have enough fabric for a waistband for the shorts, I just added elastic to where the waistband would have been. And this also helped the shorts fit a lot better. Plus, the wrap skirt I'm about to show you will cover the shorts. And there were shorts without waistbands back in the 40s, so it's not entirely historically inaccurate. The wrap skirt is what I like to call the epitome of piecing, and here's why. I got into trouble because I underestimated just how much fabric I'd actually need, and I couldn't cut a back piece to it. Luckily, the parts that I did manage to cut out for the skirt were pretty large, so I didn't really need a back piece. And my camera kept dying here, so I'm going to briefly walk you through the steps of making the skirt while I show you whatever video I've salvaged. I sewed the separate pieces of my fabric together, pinning them first because pinning is absolutely essential in sewing if you want the actual sewing process to go easier. After I finished sewing the skirt, I attached the waistband and the ties together. I figured it would be easier to sew all of that together and then attach the waistband onto the skirt, so that's what I did. And then I hemmed the skirt. And that's it.
Poor Johnny's heart went pity-pity-pat somewhere in sunny France. He met a girl by chance with the naughty, naughty glance. She looked just like a kitty cat. She loved to dance and play. Though he learned no French, when he left the trench, he knew well enough to say.
And that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a lot of effort to make and edit. If you would like to see more of my sweaty, poorly lit face, please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post on TikTok at least 5 times a week, and I am now doing streams every Monday and Friday on TikTok. My handles to both of those will be in the description box below. If you enjoyed my projects and you would like to consider supporting more of these projects, please consider supporting my Patreon. Projects like this are made possible by my patrons, and I am very grateful to each and every one of them. I will also leave a link to that down below in the description box. And that's it for today. I hope you have an amazing day and an amazing week. Please stay safe and spread kindness wherever you go. Bye!